Let me go to my next guest. Now that we have managed to take out some of the legal matters, let's get some of our other guests to also share their views with us. And as I announced to you earlier, we have Daniel Yaw Domelevo also joining us. Thank you very much, sir. Let's have your views on what has happened with the police and the organized the demonstrators.
Thank you very much, Samson, and good morning to the panelists and all your viewers and listeners. Let me say, to begin with, in my view, one thing I would like to put across is that we have only one country called Ghana, and we must all do what is necessary to coexist peacefully. And more importantly, from my point of view, the law enforcement agencies must be seen as people who encourage the law or abide by the law, but not hide behind technicalities of the law, so to deny people their rights. When Gary Numaku was speaking, he talked about no complaint has been filed, so there is no violence, which means that if I slap him and he doesn't go to the police, there is no violence. I think we have all seen clips and video footages everywhere on social media, everywhere, how people were being handled. So I plead with him. I don't know whether that's the position of the law. If the law says until you report an incident, there is no violence, then fine, correct me about that. But if that is not the position of the law, then the evidence, I believe, is there for all of us to see. Now, the point I would like to, one of the issues which came to my mind when I heard of the demonstration the first time was, oh, why Jubilee House? Oh, no. Then I remember that even Occupy Ghana was born out of Occupy Flagstaff House. So some group of Ghanaians have ever been. So the questions which started running in my mind is that we have two types of Ghanaians. Some have the right to occupy Flagstaff House. Others don't have the right to occupy the same place, now called Jubilee House. Or are we saying that the current presidency is on a higher pedestal compared to the previous ones? So the previous ones, yes, people can occupy, but the current one cannot be occupied. It's just a rhetorical question anyway. But then, aside, let's grant with that admitting that the police had the legal right. Couldn't they have different? For instance, I saw yesterday when the demonstrators were approaching, I think 37, there was a human wall formed by the police, and they sat on the floor. So if the IG send a team, then that look, guys, we are already block them without being violent, as we saw on TV and on various social media, I think it would have been very nice. We need a police with human face. In fact, at times when the police are behaving, you wonder whether they were trained to keep peace or to preach peace. Because I don't see why someone who is not holding any tool, who is not being violent, you start hitting, kicking, pulling, tearing people's dress. And I'm like, to be honest with you, I'm highly disappointed in the police, because I saw this in one of the Eastern African countries for fear of diplomatic offense. I don't want to mention the name of the country. And I stated to my colleagues there that this cannot happen in Ghana. We have very civilized police in Ghana. And what I said cannot happen in Ghana is happening. So I would like to say that it is possible, from my point of view, that the police could have handled this issue in a different way. The questions I wanted to ask, fortunately, you have preempted it. I was going to say that even if they had the right so to stop them, shouldn't they have gone back to court for the court to authorize that arrest the leaders or arrest this and this? Is it because they are party to the issue, they can decide to move the next steps by themselves? And if Daniel does the same thing, like you are saying, the two of us, we have a dispute over a land, and I have gone to court, and you still go on the land. Can I just come there, hit you, and push you out of the land? Is that what is expected? So, being a law enforcement agency, they themselves should start carrying themselves in a way that the public will respect them, instead of creating the impression that they are just there to inflict pain on citizens. This is my short position on what
you said they should have gone to the court for the court to ask them to go and arrest. The education we need the public to know is that in the circumstances and by the processes that they initiated, the court will not ask for any arrest because it's not allowed. But you mentioned that Occupy Flagstaff House went to the Jubilee House, so why are these not allowed? The correct facts are that Occupy Flagstaff House breached the agreement with the police and were giving a small access to the Jubilee House. It's not because it was agreed at the time.
Yeah, so it's the same thing.
So you see, even when they made the breach, they were still giving it. They were tolerated. Couldn't the police also tolerate this that I'm making?
In Occupy Flagstaff House, there were arrests. And if you see some of the videos, people like Kofi Bentil, when people were being arrested, they jump into the vehicle of the police that was arresting some of the individuals. There was, I think, Kobiado and the rest, and Kofi Bentil, they jumped onto it and said, arrest all of us together, and they went. So it is not the case that in Occupy Flagstaff House, there were not acts similar to what has happened today, except that the organizers, the demonstrators, defied them, and even where they were harassed and maltreated, they went through, and then eventually the Flagstaff House then agreed that the leaders should be allowed, four of the leaders should be allowed to come over to make the presentation. So they stopped them at Afrikiko.
Yes, I am not even saying that they should be allowed into the Flagstaff House.
Okay.
I am saying that people have gathered already,
okay,
and they were not violent. All that the police could have gone there is to go and stop them and say, look, we are already in court, so you can't proceed with this. We are not allowing you to go without arresting anybody or being violent. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, I was not in the country when Occupy Flagstaff happened, so I picked only a reportage from the media. So I may not have gotten everything correct. Okay. But my argument is, could the police not have handled it differently? That is all I'm saying.
All right.
Well, you have gone to file a process in court, and you think that by virtue of filing that, they should not go ahead. But the guys have gathered, and many of them will not even have heard what you are talking about. So you could go in there and say, look, guys, we are in court, so hold on, I will not allow you to proceed. That is all. That is what I'm saying.
Okay. Thank you very much.